Okay. So this is for Oshine. This is for Israel. If you know who Oshine is, this is for you. This is for Israel. I originally called you Israel. Actually, I originally called you, your name was Gabriel because when you came out, you were crying like a bird, a beautiful bird. And birds are a symbol or a signification to angels. So I want to call you the name of an angel, Gabriel, first. Um, your father did not like that. So, and there was a little bit of things going on, and then I called you Israel because you were the child that I wanted to have, that I really wanted to have, because I was so in love with your father. I couldn't wait to have his child that turned into a nightmare. So I meant to record this for Mother's Day. Um, I'm not at my best right now. I'm just coming from work and I'm tired. I work, long hours. I am not a rich person. I am not doing well by any stretch of the imagination. I am, you know, living the kind of life that I don't want. I wouldn't want you to see. I wouldn't want you to see this life that I'm living. It's not ideal. I'll put it that way. It's not ideal. And if you're age, you're of the cognizance that you would have some idea that, you know, I do not have all the accoutrements that life can offer, and I do not have them by any stretch of the imagination. Okay? But I do have health, and I'm not addicted to anything. And enough about me. I want to get into the story. So it begins in 2016 when I realized that the school thing was not going to work out. My plan was to finish, to be in university and to work for you while I was in school, and that way school could be like a buffer, because if anything happens to me while I'm in school, it will be all over the news. University student at University of Toronto, da, 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 and the whole plan was to get my degree, a plan of gaining stability, right? Of gaining the kind of life that I'd want you to be a part of. Um, when I realized that the school thing was not going to work and I wasn't going to get married and I would never have the kind of protection that would, the kind of man in my life that would keep me in the battle for you, um, there was nothing I wanted to do more than to kill myself and to drown in the Ontario Lake and be done with it. And my eldest son was on watch to watch me at that time because it was a very sad time for me, to give up. Um, the acceptance of a very shifty life kept me alive, to just accept it, accept where I am. When you were in my stomach and your father would show up, he would take my rent money and my food money, and me and Divine were literally starving while I was pregnant with you. Divine would be sucking on the sheets for sustenance because I had nothing in my boobs, nothing physically to give because Um, we would suck on the sheets for sustenance, and I couldn't sleep. I was so hungry, and I would rub my belly and wonder about the starving baby in my stomach. The night you were born, I lived and you lived. Um, that's all that was really good I can say about it. Uh, some horrible things happened. I had no minutes on my phone. I had come from work, went to sleep because my stomach was hurting so much. Tried a phone. I called your father so he could call the ambulance for me because he would be the one who would know what was happening. He hung up the phone on me and said, "Why the F are you calling me?" And I had to leave Divine with a lady who molested him. She disappeared after that, so I couldn't kill her. That's just my bunny. Earl, please behave. At 18 months, your father began not only to take my money, but also to beat the crap out of me. I put an SHIT word in here. At the time, I was swearing when I wrote this, but I really don't feel like swearing right now. Beat the crap out of me. And I still loved him though. I asked him to go to therapy. It came to the point where he would not let me go to work. It got bad, and I planned an escape. Before I could work my plan, it became too much. One morning, where the glass was broken all over the apartment because of his tantrums and breaking things, but he wouldn't let me go. He would just have his hand around my arm, around my neck all the time, and request that I stay in bed with him. And I begged him to be allowed to do the dishes. That meant that his arm would have to come off of my neck. He was terrible. And one time I cried on the bus because he was going to beat me for giving you a drink. That morning the weather was 30 degrees and we are on the top level of the apartment, and I had to plan how I would administer a drink to you. I was just so afraid of this man. As we left, and as we did leave, we went to some trip. Just I can't remember where it was. It must have been the employment office or something like that. I was the one working. He refused to work, but we had to go maybe do something to get some money. He wouldn't let me go to work at the time. It was a very muddled, horrible situation. When I say he wouldn't let me go to work, meaning he would come to my work, he would try to beat up my coworkers, throw them through the glass at one time. It was a disaster. It was a disaster. He refused to have a job. So, anyways, on this day that I want to give you a drink, I broke down and it just became so hot. And we finally got on the bus and I just broke down. I gave you a drink. And he was mad at me. I could tell he was going to beat me because as he explained it, he didn't want you to turn out to be gluttonous. He was drinking at the time. He was very crazy and, you know, obviously had no thought of something called dehydration. And um, when I realized that he was going to beat me later, I cried on the bus. "Why are you crying? Shut up. There's no reason for you to stop crying," he said. "Why are you crying?" It was very, very horrifically, I put a swear word there, horrible. And you can't even imagine. So, yeah, one morning when I had begged to be able to do the dishes. That was one of my pet peeves. He wouldn't let me get up and clean and take care of you guys. He wouldn't even let me do that, and he knew that that was the way to punish me, because I'm an A-type personality. I work, 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 work. That's what I do. If I'm not passed out from working. So yeah, that's why I asked if I could do the dishes. Um, I got up and he stayed right behind me. Now I'm about to get a little graphic here. I'm going to um, say this because I wrote it, and um, I don't want to cut out anything that I've written, because I know it's part of the story, and I know that it's hard to it's going to be hard to hear this. It's going to be hard to hear this because it's going to be, I feel like it's a selfish part, because it lets you know that I'm a person, and right now this whole thing has been selfish. Me and Omar, and this whole thing has destroyed your life. Our lives have destroyed your life. So, but anyways, so this is what I wrote. He was behind me. When someone starts beating you up, it, meaning intimacy, is the worst rape. You say no because your body is always in shock by this person. No, but no just means I better be ready to be in the worst pain. And the pain of being locked out of a good experience. No matter how much you know he would ram me or bruise me, the further and further you get away when someone is beating you. I loved your father. I loved him to death. But once he started beating me, I couldn't. That love, it just, when someone starts beating you, it's just something that it does. It rips all niceties away. And you're there, but you're gone. And you know, he was in this delusion that I was still in love with him, or that there could be love between us, but there cannot be love between us when you're beating the crap out of me. So yes, on this day where Omar was watching me, he was right behind me. I was trying to do the dishes. The phone rang, and he told me, "Stay here." And he took a chance. And he went and answered that phone, and that was my opportunity. And I ran out, and I ran through the front door to down the hall to the super so he could call the police. The police spoke with him and took his side and told me not to charge him because then I can't get a restraining order. They lied. It's actually the reverse. But because they were sympathetic to him, they gave me false information. I still have their card today because I am very, very mad. Very mad. I want to, if it was ever possible, take someone down, or at least let them know how they affected my life when they told me not to charge him because he was on probation and they were trying to protect him. not knowing that it would be the last time that I ever got to be with my child because of their stupid ass lie. But, anyways, so they lied. They also let him take you. We were never together again, as I said. Hours after, Omar called and said that he had the key and he was coming back. And I guess I kind of flipped and I was trying to rearrange the keyhole. I don't know what I was thinking. Obviously, I was just panicking, using tools and whatnot to take it apart. And my friend called and I said, "This is what's happening." And at that moment, I left everything. I left $1,000 computer I just bought to go to school, all of our pictures, clothes, everything. And I took Divine and I ran. And that's why and how it all started. That I never saw you for so many years. And at first, I named you Gabriel, and then I named you Israel. You were a land I have never attained onto yet. Like I explained, your little cry was like a bird, and you were like my little bunny, and I had you on my hip at all times. Like when, from the time you were born to 18 months, you were my best feeder. You felt so comfortable in my arms. You you were just like this accoutrement on me. Like I just held you, and it was very comfortable, and I loved it. Um, and I had you on my hip at all times till the day he took you. Your father would always tell me how he wanted to take some African woman's child, and I guess I became his African woman. And he took my child, and I hate your father. Why couldn't he just leave us alone? I had a job. We would go to soccer at the YMCA, and then I got hit by a bus, the Omar bus. Who is it? Doug, I'm sorry, I'm a little bit busy right now. Can I get to you in 5 minutes? Or just call me? So Doug is my neighbor. He has his wife, and but he helps out where he can, and I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow. I trust in the Lord. You know, I'm doing this now, even though I'm not ready. I'm not prepared. As you can see, people coming at the door, and it's just bad timing. I don't look all together. I just coming from work. I'm tired, and I believe in God. So I'm not prepared, but I'm still doing this because I don't know what tomorrow holds. I don't know if I will be alive. I don't know if I'll be cognizant enough to tell you what happened. You were so small. And I tried to come for you with the police one time because Omar was at his aunt's who was in Hamilton. Why did she have to come? Like, why was she even there? I don't know. Oh, yeah. Maybe it was a plan. Hey, she couldn't have kids. So she was planning to take my child, have Omar take my child. Maybe that was her plan. Hey, that just came to me, but maybe, like if that is what really happened and there is a God, I pray that he punishes them to the max because that is just horrible. The pastor has been talking about forgiveness and everything, and I was thinking maybe I could forgive somebody who pummeled me and beat me up. Maybe forgiveness means having people around who beat the shit out of me, but who plotted to take my child and beat the shit out of me. I don't know how forgivable that is, honestly. I don't know. But anyways, so it's Mother's Day. It's, technically 2 days after, but obviously this is fraught with horrible feelings. And I hope you can see this soon. I hope we could see each other soon. But at least if I die, I've clarified what happened, and all that I can say is I'm sorry. I'm so sorry that any of this happened. I want you to know I was running for my life. I wasn't running from you. I wanted to stay alive so that later on we could see each other, so that I could be in a stable situation where I could have you visit and not be afraid for my life. But that never happened. It never happened. And we live in a world that is full of bullshit. And that's why, you know, people don't understand what it is to be beat up by with domestic abuses, and they don't know how to defend people, and they don't know, just to say, like, even my family, they just really didn't care and didn't show up for me. So I ended up in Vancouver because when you don't have the police, you don't have the family. What can you do? What can you do? There's not too much you can do, but get as far away as you can. Get to safety. So, I don't know. You live with your father. I don't need to tell you who he is, what he's capable of, what he's done in his life. I've tried on multiple occasions, again and again. My father, who's in contact with you, Brian, um, just laughed the whole situation off. Oh, Omar beat you? Yeah. The guy who did 2 years in jail? Is that such oh, wow. A known felon for robbing people's houses? It's a shocker. It's a surprise that he beat. Like, it shouldn't have been a surprise to me. Nearly killed. Went to jail because he went to jail for an attempted murder for 2 years because he, at gunpoint, I think they did something horrible to a pizza man. I paid for a lawyer. The lawyer refused to tell me what happened because Omar wanted to keep it from me. They did something horrible. He was horrible. Canada gives you enough chances that you can stay out of jail, but when you just continually saying, please put me in jail, like, we are the most lenient country ever, then, anyways, this is going neither here nor there. I have to end this because not only am I not ready, I'm not, put together. I don't want to say anything that is just more confusing to you because the story in itself is confusing enough. But um, I don't know what to say besides I want to see you. But I have to know that it's safe to do so. Because if I see you just for a moment, what's the point? I need something sustainable. You need something sustainable. So I love you and I want to be with you. And only heaven knows. This is definitely not how I planned it. We went, I would go to work at the time. So your father never came and saw you at all, not even about 4 or 5 months after you were born. When I was in the hospital, they just hung up the phone on me and said, "This is not, this is not my brother's son," and blah blah blah, this, that, and the third. And he didn't show up until way months after to see you for the first time. And I was always the same person. Church girl, always bringing the kids to church. I'm a big nerd, okay? So for them to act like I was the neighborhood community girl, that was not me. That was never me. So I don't know. Um, yeah, your father just I would go to work. I was in school for a little bit. It didn't work out because your father was the only person I knew. So I asked him to come and babysit for me to get to a class or an assignment one time, and he just didn't show up because that's how reliable he is. Wow, like my father's doing like he's the beacon of hope and Jesus and truth in life. How could he ever beat somebody up? But anyways, and so I quit school, um, and then I was just at work and we'd go to the YMCA and we'd come home and we just had our little life. And then one day he showed up to actually see you. Actually, my father dropped him off with all of his stuff. And I wanted to tell my father, I'm not really, I said, Dad, like, what are you doing? Because he was mean to Divine. And I didn't like that. And I don't know. It's just a bad way. Your father is such a piece of shit. Like, there's nothing good to say. Nothing good to say. There's literally nothing good to say. Your father is the biggest piece of shit. And you may know a different side of him, but this is the side that I saw. And all I could do is end this with a prayer because I don't know what else to say. I don't know what else to say. I believe in God. At the same time, I don't know if I'm going to be dying. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. He doesn't give us clairvoyance, he just gives us day to day. And right now, I have this moment right now. I'm currently on a 21-day fast. So, um, and I'm a faster. Like, this is by no means my first or longest fast. And God will make a way where there seems to be no way. Heavenly Father, I don't know what to say right now. I don't know what to do. I'm calling out to you so that you can make the situation proper so that I can see my son. God, I don't know where he is. I don't know if he's okay. God, I put him in your hands. I put him in your hands because you are a mighty Father who can do what I cannot do. God, you can crush Omar in a second. You're strong, where I am weak. You're smart, where I am dumb. Your ways are higher above mine than the earth is from the heavens. So, God, I just pray that you fix this situation and reunite us. Let us be in a sustainable situation that we could see each other and be together. As a mother and a son should be. God, protect him and guide him. Give him whatever he needs. Give him whatever he yearns for, that is your will. God, protect his heart, guide his heart, guide his mind. Lead him in a good way in the land of the living. God, I pray against that evil demon, Omar, whatever took over him, God. I pray that it doesn't hurt my son. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say. Jesus, please intercede for me. I have no clue. Dumbfounded. This whole situation is just dumbfounding. This makes no sense. Doesn't make any sense. But God, you make streams of water in the desert. God, you could do a mighty work here. Jesus, by the blood of Jesus, the blood that speaks, the blood of Jesus Christ that speaks, because of his sacrifice, because of his truth, his righteousness that I'm wearing. I pray that you hear and answer this prayer speedily. In the mighty name, in the name above every name, Jesus. Amen.